For those unfamiliar, in the 2010-2011 season, up-and-coming NHLer Kyle Beach was a member of the Blackhawks who was sexually assaulted by their video coach, Brad Aldrich. The day after it happened, Beach let the front office know in order to deal with it. In response, they agreed that it would be too much of a distraction to the team as they geared up for the playoffs. That's right, they chose winning over helping a survivor of abuse within their organization. Beach's NHL career nosedived following the event, and while Aldrich was eventually fired, he didn't leave in disgrace. In fact, the Blackhawks organization wrote him a swimming letter of recommendation to his next position, where he continued to do the exact same thing he did to several other young men. This is a complete failure from top to bottom. And to make matters worse, every single player on the team knew that this had occurred. Instead of offering support to their teammate, several of them went out of their way to berate and insult Beach, hurling homophobic insults his way. This story, corroborated by two teammates and Beach himself, shows a distinctly rotten culture within the Blackhawks organization. But the part that really gets to me the most is that three of their top players, guys who could have stepped in at any time, chose to do nothing and suffered zero consequences. Let's start with Duncan Keith. When he isn't whining about having to get a vaccine, Keith is busy refusing to cooperate with an investigation into his former teammate's sexual assault. Now, I'm not one to point fingers, but this seems like some really shady and unsportsmanlike behavior. Rotten player, shouldn't receive a single amount of kudos for his career. Goodbye, Queef, you will not be missed. Patrick Kane, superstar of Chicago, is the only one of the big three that was specifically named as a person who berated Beach. Now, we all know that Kane is a scumbag. Sexual assault allegations and beating up taxi drivers aside, this particular remark stood out to me. He immediately went to the media and said that he knew nothing about it. You'd think a guy with such a good vision on the ice would use it to avoid turning a blind eye when it mattered the most. I guess, in this case, have fun with the rebuild, Patty. And last, but most certainly not least, we have Jonathan Toews, Captain Serious. The only thing Toews is actually serious about is covering his own ass when it came to letting his teammate down. This is a guy who's been applauded as a leader in the NHL for years. What kind of leader does that? Johnny, you're either an incompetent, bumbling fool of a captain who genuinely didn't know that his teammate was assaulted, or you're a malicious scumbag who aided a cover-up of a sexual assault. I don't know which one is worse. All three of you will almost certainly have your numbers retired. You'll all likely make it to the Hall of Fame. Were it up to me, I'd have every name scrubbed from that 2010-2011 Cup and have all of you banned from the Hall of Fame. But this isn't up to me, so instead I leave you with this. I hope every night you're reminded of the time you failed, the time you let down a kid with nothing but excitement and passion for the sport. I hope you spend the rest of your days regretting your actions, and eventually, I hope you can make it right. I'm not sure how you can, but something's got to be done.